All right, let's dive in. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a super powerful tool that's kind of the secret engine for some of the world's biggest companies, SAP BPC. If you've ever wondered how these massive global organizations keep their finances from spinning into chaos, well, you're in the right place.
Does this look familiar? I mean, does your company's financial process ever feel like a tangled mess? A maze of countless spreadsheets, data that just doesn't line up, and that mad dash to close the books every single month? You're not alone. It's a huge problem, but it really doesn't have to be this way.
So let's talk about what this financial maze really is. At its core, it's this constant struggle, this push and pull between trying to plan for the future while also trying to accurately report on what just happened. And pretty much every finance team on the planet feels this pressure.
And you see how these problems just cascade, right? You've got spreadsheets everywhere, which means your data is trapped in all these different silos. That, in turn, makes closing the books at the end of the month incredibly slow and painful. And every time someone has to manually copy and paste something, you're risking a huge error. The result? Nobody really trusts the numbers, which makes trying to make a big, confident decision, well, almost impossible.
But what if you could swap out that confusing maze for a control tower? Imagine a single place where you have a clear, unified view of the entire financial landscape. Well, that's precisely the job that SAP Business Planning and Consolidation, what we all call BPC, was built to do.
So the key here is to think of SAP BPC as way more than just another piece of software. It's a unified platform. It takes all those messy processes, planning for what's next and reporting on what's past, and brings them all together under one roof. This creates that single source of truth that is, let's be honest, the holy grail for any finance team.
Okay, to really get what BPC does, it helps to think of it as being built on two massive pillars. You've got planning on one side and consolidation on the other. These two functions are the absolute heart and soul of the whole system.
And right here, you can see the two sides of the finance coin. The planning pillar is all about looking ahead, setting budgets, forecasting sales, running different scenarios to see what might happen. Then you have the consolidation pillar. This is about looking backward, but with total accuracy. It takes all the data from your different companies and divisions and rolls it all up into one official set of books that follows all the legal rules, like GAAP in the US or IFRS internationally.
So let's dig a little deeper into that planning side, because this is where it gets really cool. BPC is super flexible. You can have executives set targets from the top down, or you can build your budgets from the ground up. You can spin up what-if scenarios in an instant. But for a lot of companies, the absolute game changer is something called driver-based planning.
So how does that actually work in practice? Well, instead of just pulling a revenue number out of thin air, a planner inputs the key business drivers, so things they actually control, like how many units they think they'll sell or what the selling price will be. BPC automatically does all the math, but the real magic happens when you ask, hey, what if we bump the price by 5%? You change that one number, that one driver, and the entire forecast updates instantly. Now that is business agility.
All right, now let's swing over to that second pillar, consolidation. This is where BPC automates all the complex, tedious, rule-based work of corporate accounting. I mean, for any global company, things like handling different currencies or getting rid of transactions between your own subsidiaries, that stuff is a real headache and so easy to get wrong. BPC just handles it automatically. It's a lifesaver.
Okay, check out this classic example. Company A sells something to its sister company, Company B. From the outside, no real sale happened, right? The money just moved from the company's left pocket to its right pocket. So BPC has a rule that automatically finds and eliminates this internal transaction. This makes sure the final consolidated books show the true financial picture, and it prevents you from accidentally inflating your own revenue.
So BPC is obviously super powerful, but it doesn't work in a vacuum. It doesn't live on an island. It's part of a much bigger technology ecosystem, and it needs to pull data from all sorts of different systems to do its job.
Now, in the past, BPC could run on a few different platforms, from SAP's own super-fast HANA database to a Microsoft SQL Server setup. But the really important trend to see here is where things are headed. More and more, BPC is being paired up with SAP Analytics Cloud, or SAC. This creates this awesome hybrid model where you get the rock-solid consolidation power of BPC combined with the slick, modern visuals and predictive tools of SAC. That combo is the future.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how, but now for the question that really matters. So what? What is the actual real-world impact of a tool like this? For the business, yeah,
but also for the people who actually use it.
This number just says it all. 50%. In a real case study, a huge multinational company was able to cut its financial closing cycle in half after putting in BPC. Just think about that for a second. Slashing the time it takes to finalize your numbers by half isn't just a small efficiency gain, it's a massive strategic advantage.
And that speed, it creates this incredible ripple effect across the entire business. When you get accurate numbers faster, you can make smarter decisions faster. When your data is centralized and you can trust your forecasts, the whole organization just becomes more nimble, more agile. This is how the finance department transforms from just a reporting function into a real strategic partner that has a seat at the table.
And this is where it gets really interesting for you personally. Having expertise in a critical system like this is incredibly valuable. It opens the door to a whole range of high-demand, high-paying jobs for people who get both the finance side and the technology side of things, from the consultants who set up the system to the architects who are designing the future of financial tools.
You know, I think this quote just nails it perfectly. SAP BPC isn't just some accounting tool. It really is the CFO's control tower. It gives them the visibility, the data, and the control they need to navigate the wild world of modern finance and really steer the business in the right direction.
So we'll just leave you with this one thought. As you think about that financial maze you might be dealing with day to day, the real question is, are you ready to start building your control tower? Thanks so much for tuning in.